Yo, what up, eighth grade? Happy Wednesday. We're doing this on a different day for you guys. It's Tuesday for me, but Wednesday for y'all, Wednesday morning. And we have something going on Thursday we'll talk about. So let's jump right into pod. I don't know how many times I've said that we want to make a video quick this year, but I'm going to try for you. My goal is always to make these closer to 5-10 minutes, and they're getting longer. So let's jump right in. A few thoughts. Mrs. Bollinger and I have been dealing with a few student conflicts lately, and often, so many times over the years, they've involved messengers, like the messenger god Hermes or Mercury in Roman mythology. Man, I'm a nerd. But watch out for that. Remember the game of telephone. So and so tells you that so and so said that their cousin's boyfriend's something called you a name. Maybe be a little bit skeptical. Okay, often when it goes through those layers of communication and messengers, there might be some skewing of the message. It's probably not as, I don't know, it could not really be what they said. So don't always just believe it, okay? If you find yourself being the messenger, why? Okay, sometimes people are doing it deliberately to cause drama, okay? And if you think, I got to tell my friend this, sometimes maybe it's not that helpful. You don't need to tell them that, okay? So when you find yourself in a big conflict, watch out for the messengers, guys. When I say that I finally watched the movie Wonder, it's been out for several years. I remember when I watched the trailer, even the trailer made me cry a little bit. But I figured there'd be some good life lessons in there, and there was for sure. Finally watched it over the weekend. My daughter watched it with me. She really liked it. And this quote, which is a Mr. Brown, the teacher for Augie, one of his what are they called? Not maxims, but precepts. He says, and this is the quote that ends the movie: "Be kind, for everyone is fighting a hard battle." And if you really want to see who people are, all you have to do is look. Okay. If you've seen that movie, you know, obviously he has his own battle, but I think sometimes we just act without thinking of people's feelings. And when they do stuff to us, like, what's their problem? Maybe they do have an issue that they're working through. Okay. And if you want to find out more about them, just look at them. Okay. So good movie, good lessons in there. Check it out if you get a chance. Let's talk about Thursday, which this is Wednesday morning. So it's technically tomorrow for you guys. All right. So we are trying a new ISAT schedule to try to make ISATs and all the various tests you have to take as easy as possible. So if you've got some headphones, you might want to bring those on Thursday. Just have them with you. I might put that out there to parents and folks. We have some new ones ordered, but they may not be here in time. So if you have some, bring them. You're going to be hosting testing in homeroom. Now we're trying to do that in the morning. Eat your breakfast in homeroom earlier than normal. Okay, get everything set up, and by 8:30 be testing. Depending on the test, maybe that's going to be too much time. Okay, no need to rush because you're not going anywhere, and you're going to have to be quiet anyways. So no matter what test we're taking, Thursday we're taking the interim ELA test. So do your best for Mrs. Morris, for yourself, to show where you're at. Okay, and so there's no flex on Thursday, okay, or tomorrow for you guys, and then we go through our class period like normal after that testing block. Sixth grade, if maybe you guys remember, they did a version of this on Wednesdays, and we've been planning on doing this for a while, but the good thing about COVID last year is it canceled ISATs, right? So don't be a click-through person. Okay, homeroom teachers are going to be watching you. If I can tell that you really have just click through, you're going to be in trouble. But all we're asking is you can do your best. Okay? You don't have to be perfect. I know sometimes people hear ISATs and they get stressed out. We're always looking for that middle ground. Okay, don't psych yourself out, but certainly try your best because it is going to be something that follows you for sure. Okay, that's one way that we determine what people need even in going to high school. So when it comes test time, if you have any questions, ask homeroom teacher, and this will be a nice trial run on Friday to see, or Thursday, how it all works, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we are in the middle of, and this is the part I want to go fast, decision 3 after school and friends. Okay, the 6 decisions that you'll make in your right now years, your teenage years, that could alter your life's path for better or worse, for sure. So as we talk about parents, we talked about last week how they can be a little rough sometimes, a little annoying, and just various ways that they can do that. The parent who tries too hard to be hip and cool and always be up in your business. The parents who are never satisfied and nothing you do is good enough for them. The ones that are comparing you to your siblings all the time, the ones that are just helicoptering over you and always giving you, just taking away your freedom, I guess, and then ones that are possibly fighting with each other. So I'm not going to go through solutions for everyone. There's no simple solution. We talked a little bit about strategies last week, but I would just remind you, their intentions are generally good. They want what's best for you. We'll get into that more today. And the alternative of just maybe you think it's cool if you have a friend who's like, that kid can do whatever they want. But trust me, that will catch up to you. Okay. If a parent who cares is what you want, maybe they often go a little too far, I guess, or occasionally go too far and care too much, but it's done out of love. All right. So today we're talking about closing the communication gap. And that gap can feel like the gap in the darn Grand Canyon, because it feels like maybe between you and your parents, especially during the teen years, you guys are like from different planets. You speak different languages. You just don't have similar anything, goals, interests, whatever. They listen to weird music and dress weird, and they're not your kind of people. Okay, you want to be spending more time with friends. So why is it the case? Well, yeah, the ages are different, your priorities are different, but we're not going to go over this in detail, but it's kind of cool. Generation differences. All right. So what we have here is none of your parents are way back born pre 1945. Probably a few baby boomers. Probably some Gen X, but mostly Gen Y, or really what they call these are millennials. And that's people of my generation, okay? And 81 is supposedly the start of millennial, and that's just a little older than me, not by much. So most of your parents somewhere in here. You guys are Gen Z, okay? That's what they call you, or the I generation, okay? And there's a lot of differences for you guys, for sure. Just from a different generation. Look at even the communication tools. They like to write letters way back when, telephone, email, text message, maybe texting or social media. And then this is getting even to handheld devices, different things, okay? So there's just a lot of changes going on there. What is this? Percentage of U.S. workforce, okay. So you guys are just different people with different priorities sometimes. So it's natural. I gotta stop moving my face so much for that gap to feel really big, but it doesn't have to stay that way. So surprise, surprise, a lot of the information that Sean Covey shares about how you can close that communication gap is going through some of the 7 habits he taught you about last year. Starting with the idea that it doesn't always have to be a conflict, that sometimes if they can have their way and we can all win, instead of saying it's win-lose, I gotta get my way and stick it to my parents a little bit. I know people maybe haven't thought that way, like I'm gonna show them, but I just wonder if you ever do. I mean, they work hard to let you have your needs taken care of, and they want what's best for you. So why would you want to make them lose? But regardless, you should at least have the paradigm of saying, okay, we can both win sometimes and get our way. It's also really important that you seek first to understand and then to be understood. I know that sometimes parents talk and it just sounds like blah, 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 and you miss some of that. But I wonder how well you know those folks in your home. Okay. If you ask them any questions about, what do you know about their life when they were your age? What do they know? I mean, even in their 20s, what was life like? How did they meet? What are the things they like? Maybe you know that about your parents. And if you do, that's a sign of a good relationship between you guys. But I don't think we do enough listening. Okay. So hear their point of view, and all those things are a precursor to getting to habit 6, synergy. And I'm reusing a few things that we had last year when we introduced the habits, and I skewed them a little bit to parents, and we're going to go pretty quick. So synergy is the idea that 1 + 1 can equal 3. Okay, and you think that's impossible mathematically, obviously it is, but we're looking for a better, higher way. It's not about compromise and just a fight of who gets their way. We want our way. We want a better way. Okay, that's what synergy is. So how do we get there? First, we have to know the problem. What is the primary problem that we're talking about? And I would focus on the micro problem, not like the big picture. But in this situation, what are we talking about? Curfew. I want to date this person. Something that you want that they're not so sure about. Okay, and remember, when I say what's the problem, you can't say they're the problem, because you just eliminated yourself from a win-win scenario. You'll never get to synergy that way. Okay, it'll just be more conflict, and home won't be a good place. All right. So the example I used last year when we were talking about problems wasn't a real problem. I'm sure if I racked my brain, I could think about some issues that my mom and I had when I was in teen years. I'm sure I could. There's plenty. But the scenario I had is we were going to go out to eat, and I told you this story last year. But we were in a slightly bigger city than where I grew up, and we had some options. Okay, so that's the problem. And I was older than you guys. She was, I think I was maybe even like a junior or senior, and I had a say finally. Usually we would go wherever. So seek first to understand their thoughts and values. Remember to be a quality listener. Okay, for us the problem was my mom wanted to go to a kind of a steakhouse place that I'd been to before. It wasn't great. I thought it was too fancy, okay, and just it wasn't my thing. Okay, way too fancy. But with your problem, why do they not want you to break curfew or date that person or try out for this team or something? Okay, and I don't want to speak for them, but often they have concerns about your well-being and safety. So if this is a rule that you're mad, why is this a rule? Why do I have a curfew? Why don't I get more allowance? Then really ask them respectfully, but try to understand what's the purpose for that. Why do they care so much about that? Because if they're getting angry and upset, just know that they care a lot about that thing that they're arguing about. So they may want to tell you more about it. Okay. Remember, seek first to understand, but the next part of that is once you really truly try to understand their point of view, don't be aggressive, don't be rude, but remember it can be kindly, assertively, directly tell them what you want, why you want to break curfew, why you want to date that person, why you want to try out for that team. My way in the restaurant conversation is I wanted Taco Bell. Why did I want it? It was fast. I had it before. At the time, I thought it was good. Nowadays, not so much. But and I don't remember if I probably was just whining. I'm going to go to Taco Bell. That's all I was saying over and over again. So, and that's what I would tell you is don't just say it over and over again. Explain your point of view. Next step, the important one. What are some other things? Okay. And there may be a time that you don't always have to go to Synergy. When you say, hey, I'm okay if we do this time. Okay. But if you do that always, then you become the doormat passive person. So it's something that you truly care about. This time, I believe in our curfew, Mom, but I really want to go to that Super Bowl party or whatever it is. Explain that. Okay. So we start brainstorming and trying to say, what could be another restaurant we could go to in this situation or whatever. Okay, if you don't want me to break curfew this time, when's the situation when that would be okay? In what scenario? And know that this takes time. It takes time to listen and respect them and get into a pattern and know that success may look a little bit like that and not a straight line. What is the best solution? One that includes ideas from all teammates. That's some language left over from last year. Sorry. The best solution includes elements of what they want and what you want. Okay. So they want you to be safe and you want to have fun. That's generally the wants right there. Can you have fun in this safe confines in some safe way? So what we decided, and I think that's an actual picture from the restaurant, was to go to Fiesta Guadalajara in Ontario, Oregon, which to this day is my favorite restaurant because they thought, hey, it's still set down, it's quality food, but it's Mexican food, which is what I wanted. Okay. And nothing against Taco Bell, but that place and Trace is good. It reminds me, it's pretty close, but Fiesta, that was our jam back in the day. My wife ended up loving it too. So that was the better way. If I wouldn't have compromised and synergized and got to a third better way, we would have never had that conflict. Okay. I would have never tried that restaurant. So getting the synergy, go through what are we really facing, listen first, then say your point of view. Okay, what's something that works for both me and you, Mom or Dad, and then we come up with the best solution. That takes some steps, that takes some calm discussion, but in the end we all feel like we win, like that kind of cheesy looking happy couple and their kid. Yay, we all win. And that's really what we're going to end on, other than a nice little reminder from Sean. And quickly to review before we read that, yes, there can be a big gap between you and your parents, especially during teen years when you want to spend more time with friends. But please don't shut them out completely. Okay, they deserve a say. They have a say. You'll get more freedom when you work with them. Okay, but close that gap by getting to know them, thinking, hey, how can we think win-win? How can I understand them? And then try to come up with a plan to synergize and saying, if this works for you, it works for me. Even if it's not exactly what you wanted in the start, if you get 75% of what you wanted and you build trust with your parents, it's win-win. All right. Things that could derail this process. I don't know why, but not every kid, but a lot of kids feel these urges. He calls them two classic blunders that can destroy trust or what you're trying to build with those parentals at home. What they are, getting in a last word. You guys know that? Maybe there's a bit of an argument, discussion, you're walking away and you mutter something under your breath. Probably not a nice word, jerk, idiot, old loser, I don't know. Okay, and parent hears that, not going to be very good. So when things have gone and they're wrapped up, just close the mouth, because getting that last word in is not ideal. And then for some reason, this word right here is hard to hear as a parent. I've heard it from two of my kids. The third one, thank goodness, hasn't said that yet, but he's 5 months old. And the other two haven't said it that much, but it's like a dagger. And what they really mean is I'm mad at you, mom or dad. Okay, but that's not what you're saying. Okay, hate is the opposite of love, and that's what should characterize a good relationship between your parents. So when they hear that, any good parent's not gonna they'll never forgive you. Like I forgive them, but it still hurts, and it can really disrupt the relationship. So watch out for those potential problems. I encourage you to keep working with those people at home, because they do love you and they want what's best for you. Appreciate you guys listening. Remember, Thursday, try your best, all right? 15 minutes. I'm sorry, guys. I can never get it short enough. Thanks for listening. Hopefully, you're getting something out of this, guys. And miss you in pod, but I hope to see you otherwise. So